Sometimes life will try to pull you off the track. Oh yes, it will. You start out with a dream, a direction, a destination in mind, but then detours show up. People will distract you. Pain will delay you. Pressure will discourage you. But hear me when I say this. If God put you on that track, no storm, no struggle, no setback has the power to stop you unless you step off it. See, the enemy doesn't have to destroy you. All he's got to do is distract you. Because if you lose your focus, you'll lose your fire. If you lose your direction, you'll lose your destiny. So today, I came to tell somebody in this room, no matter what it looks like, no matter how long it takes, you've got to stay on track. Stay on track until the promise shows up. Focus determines direction. When you lose focus, you lose traction. And when you lose traction, you lose progress. Focus is the compass of purpose. It's not enough to have a dream if your mind keeps wandering. It's not enough to have a goal if your attention keeps shifting. Focus is what separates those who wish from those who walk. It's what turns potential into progress and intention into impact. You can't move forward if your mind is divided. You can't build anything lasting while you're distracted by everything temporary. When you look at a train on a track, it can only go where the rails are laid. It doesn't argue with the direction. It stays aligned with the path set before it. The moment that train comes off the track, no matter how powerful the engine, it stops moving. And that's how life is. You can have the power, the talent, the gifting, and the calling, but if you're off track, you won't reach the destination. Focus is what keeps you aligned. It's what keeps your energy moving in the right direction. Many people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're distracted. They start running towards something. But when something shiny shows up on the side of the road, they lose momentum. They get caught up comparing themselves, chasing after applause, scrolling through distractions, and wondering why they're not seeing progress. The truth is, whatever holds your focus holds your future. What you continually give attention to will eventually shape the course of your life. In this world of noise and competition, the greatest challenge isn't doing more, it's doing what matters. Focus means saying no to many good things so you can say yes to the right thing. You can't pursue purpose and please everyone. You can't follow your calling and follow the crowd. Focus is the courage to fix your eyes on what God told you to do even when everything around you tells you to quit. It's staying steady when distractions demand your detour. You've got to guard your focus, protect it like treasure, because the enemy doesn't have to destroy you. He just has to distract you. If he can get you off focus, he can get you off course. He'll send frustration, temptation, and even opportunity to test your concentration. Not every open door is divine. Not every invitation deserves your attention. Some things look good, but lead nowhere. Some things feel urgent, but aren't important. The mature know that movement is not the same as progress. You can be busy, but not effective, active, but not advancing. Focus demands discernment. It asks you to recognize what's for now and what's for later. Some things will waste your time. Others will grow your faith. Focus helps you choose the difference. That's why the disciplined thrive, where the distracted struggle. It's not because life is easier for them. It's because their eyes are fixed on the vision. They know where they're headed, and they won't let temporary storms blur eternal promises. Think of an archer aiming at a target. Every muscle aligns with a mark. The bow bends, the breath steadies, and the eyes lock in. One small shift of focus can cause the arrow to miss. In life, a minor drift in focus can lead to major deviation in direction. You start missing appointments, missing moments, missing growth. That's why you've got to check your focus daily. Ask yourself, what am I looking at? What's capturing my mind? What's feeding my attention? Because your eyes will always guide your feet. If you keep looking back, you can't move forward. If you keep watching others, you'll forget your own race. Focus demands that you fix your gaze on your assignment, not your surroundings. It's not about ignoring the noise. It's about refusing to let it define your journey. There will always be something to pull you away. Doubt, criticism, temptation, but you've got to decide that your destiny is too important to be derailed. Sometimes focus requires silence. It means turning off what distracts you so you can hear what directs you. It means stepping away from confusion long enough to regain clarity. You can't hear divine instruction in constant interruption. Focus is a discipline of the mind, a posture of the spirit. It's training yourself to keep moving even when motivation fades, because feelings fluctuate, but focus must remain. When you're focused, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop chasing everything and start building something. You stop worrying about what's next and start working with what's now. Focus brings peace because it brings clarity. It helps you see the steps instead of being overwhelmed by the journey. And when your focus is aligned with faith, you become unstoppable. The truth is, focus is not natural, it's nurtured. It grows with intention. Every time you choose to keep your eyes on the goal, you strengthen it. Every time you refuse to be distracted, you develop it. Focus matures through practice. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You might stumble, but don't stay scattered. Refocus, realign, restart. Every new moment gives you the power to redirect your attention toward what matters most. And here's what's powerful. When your focus is right, your direction becomes clear. You begin to attract clarity, resources, and opportunities that match your mindset. Because focus is magnetic. It draws to you what aligns with your purpose. People who know where they're going attract others who want to go somewhere too. That's why leaders lead from focus, not from frenzy. If you want your life to move in the right direction, you must learn to focus on the right things, your faith, your growth, your purpose, your calling. Stop giving your energy to what drains you and start investing it in what develops you. Don't let the noise of the world drown out the whisper of your destiny. Keep your eyes fixed, your heart steady, and your mind clear, because at the end of the day, focus determines direction. You will go where your mind is aimed. You will grow where your attention stays. You will succeed where your focus endures. So stay focused when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's quiet. Don't let anything break your concentration. Your destiny depends on your direction, and your direction depends on your focus. Keep your eyes on the vision, your feet on the path, and your heart on the promise. The finish line is waiting for those who never lose sight of where they're going. Distraction delays destiny. Every great dream that has ever been destroyed didn't die because it was impossible. It died because someone got distracted. Distraction is the enemy of direction. It's the quiet thief that steals your time, your focus, your energy, and your purpose. It doesn't always come loudly. It doesn't always come dressed in disaster. Sometimes it comes disguised as opportunity. Sometimes it comes wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it even looks like progress. But its goal is always the same: to pull you away from your purpose long enough for you to forget what you were created to do. When you start walking in purpose, distractions will show up like never before. The closer you get to destiny, the louder the noise becomes. The moment you start making progress, life will start throwing things at you that demand your attention. People will start pulling on you. Situations will start testing you and emotions will start distracting you. It's not coincidence, it's strategy. The enemy knows he can't destroy what God has promised you. So he'll try to distract you from pursuing it, because if he can stop your movement, he can delay your manifestation. Distraction doesn't just waste your time. It weakens your focus. Every moment you spend reacting to what doesn't matter is a moment you lose working toward what does. You can't give your best to your purpose if you're constantly giving your energy to your distractions. You can't reach your destiny when your attention is divided between too many directions. The mind can't fully commit where the heart is confused. Distraction is subtle. It creeps in slowly. It tells you to check one more message, scroll one more feed, entertain one more conversation that doesn't build you. It convinces you that you'll get back to your purpose soon, but soon turns into later, and later turns into never. Before you know it, days turn into months, and you're stuck wondering why your dream hasn't moved. It's not because you're unqualified, it's because you've been unfocused. Destiny demands discipline, and discipline requires saying no to distractions. It means saying no to things that don't align with your vision. No to people who don't respect your mission, and no to habits that drain your ambition. You can't keep feeding your distractions and expect your purpose to grow. What you feed will flourish. What you starve will fade. If you keep feeding distractions, purpose will starve. But if you starve distractions, purpose will thrive. The truth is, every distraction has a purpose. It's testing what matters to you most. You'll always be tempted to choose what's easy over what's essential. The scroll is easy, but studying is essential. Talking is easy, but training is essential. Complaining is easy, but creating is essential. Distraction always offers ease in exchange for destiny. And if you keep taking the easy path, you'll never reach the promised land. Look at Peter walking on the water. As long as his eyes were on Jesus, he walked above the storm. But the moment he got distracted by the wind, he started to sink. That's what distraction does. It pulls your attention from the promise and focuses it on the problem. It makes you fear what's around you instead of trusting what's within you. It replaces faith with fear and movement with hesitation. Distraction doesn't just delay progress, it drowns potential. The dangerous part about distraction is that it often feels harmless. It doesn't always look destructive. Sometimes it looks enjoyable. That's why so many people lose years to it. They don't realize they're drifting because distraction doesn't destroy you all at once. It destroys you over time. A little compromise here, a little inconsistency there, and slowly you lose your fire. It's like erosion. It's quiet but constant. You don't notice it day by day, but eventually you look up and realize you're far from where you were supposed to be. To protect your destiny, you have to master your focus. That means being intentional about what you allow into your space. Every distraction that enters your life comes at a cost. Every unnecessary conversation, every wasted hour, every negative thought, it all takes something from you. And once your time and energy are gone, you can't get them back. Destiny is expensive. It costs focus, and distraction is the thief that tries to rob you of it. Some of the greatest people in history didn't make it because they weren't gifted. They missed it because they were distracted. Samson lost his strength to distraction. David almost lost his kingship to distraction. Even Eve lost the garden because of distraction. The serpent didn't take the fruit. He took her focus. And when focus was lost, destiny was delayed. The pattern is the same throughout time. When you lose sight of what matters, you lose ground in what's possible. Distraction doesn't just come to slow you down. It comes to make you settle. It whispers, "This is good enough." When you're called for greatness, it tells you you've done enough when there's still more inside of you. Distraction will make you trade destiny for comfort, calling for convenience, purpose for pleasure. It makes you believe that later will always be available, but destiny has a time window. And if you spend that time distracted, you may miss what was meant for you. To overcome distraction, you must know your why. Purpose gives you perspective. When you know what you're called to do, you stop chasing everything else. When you know what you're building, you stop being impressed by everything shiny. Your why becomes your anchor. It keeps you from drifting when distractions try to pull you away. People who know their why are hard to distract because they recognize the difference between what's urgent and what's important. Distraction also loves company. It comes with drama, gossip, unnecessary competition, and comparison. It tells you to measure your progress by someone else's pace. It keeps you busy looking at other people's blessings instead of working on your own. But comparison is a form of distraction, and comparison always delays creation. You can't create while you're copying. You can't move forward while you're measuring yourself against someone else's lane. Your destiny doesn't need their timeline. It needs your focus. Sometimes distraction will come as pain. You'll be hurt, disappointed, betrayed, and you'll be tempted to stop and nurse the wound instead of moving forward in purpose. But you can't let pain distract you from progress. Even in the middle of hurt, keep your eyes on the promise. Pain is temporary, but destiny is eternal. Don't let a temporary season cause you to lose an eternal assignment. At the end of the day, distraction is a choice. You can't always control what shows up, but you can control what you give attention to. You decide whether to engage or ignore, whether to wander or walk, whether to drift or drive. Every day you wake up, you're making choices that either delay or develop your destiny. So choose focus, choose discipline, choose purpose. Don't let distraction rob you of what God designed for you, because every minute spent distracted is a minute lost to destiny. Keep your eyes on where you're going, your heart fixed on what you believe, and your hands steady on the work before you. Don't let noise steal your name or comfort steal your crown. Stay locked in, stay faithful, and stay moving. Because destiny isn't denied, it's delayed. And the only thing that can delay it is distraction. Discipline keeps momentum. Discipline is what carries you when motivation runs out. It's the bridge between desire and destiny, between intention and execution. Everyone starts strong when the vision is fresh and the excitement is high. But discipline is what determines who finishes. Discipline is the quiet strength that pushes you forward when your emotions tell you to quit. It's what keeps your feet moving when your feelings don't want to follow. Without discipline, dreams remain decorations, beautiful to look at but never lived out. Momentum is powerful, but it's fragile. It doesn't sustain itself. It has to be maintained. You can't just start moving. You have to keep moving. Discipline is the force that fuels consistency, and consistency is what builds momentum. Anyone can run fast for a moment, but it takes discipline to keep running when the race gets long. It's not about sprinting, it's about sustaining. Discipline says, even when I don't see results yet, I'll keep showing up. Even when no one notices, I'll keep building. Even when it's hard, I'll stay the course. That's how momentum is born, not in bursts of energy, but in steady obedience. When you think about the word momentum, it's not just about speed, it's about direction and force combined. A disciplined life doesn't just move fast, it moves with purpose. Without discipline, energy is wasted, potential is scattered, and time is lost. But with discipline, even small actions compound into big results. Discipline multiplies effort. It takes a little bit done daily and turns it into something powerful over time. The person who wins isn't always the most talented. It's usually the one who's most consistent. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't get applause. It happens in quiet rooms, early mornings, late nights, and ordinary days. It's getting up when the bed feels warm. It's showing up when nobody claps. It's saying no to what feels good so you can say yes to what will make you great. That's why so many people start but don't finish. They fall in love with the idea of success, but not the discipline that creates it. Discipline keeps momentum because it creates rhythm. Life moves in rhythms. Work and rest, rise and rebuild, sow and reap. Discipline aligns you with that rhythm. It keeps you from stopping when things slow down or giving up when things get hard. Even when progress feels invisible, discipline reminds you that movement is still happening. Just because you can't see growth doesn't mean it's not growing. Seeds don't sprout overnight, but they're still becoming something beneath the surface. Discipline keeps you faithful in the unseen seasons. You can't have momentum without motion, and you can't have motion without consistency. Discipline is that steady hand that keeps you on track. Think of a potter shaping clay. If the wheel stops spinning, the form collapses. The constant spin gives structure. That's what discipline does. It keeps your life turning at the right pace so purpose can take shape. Without it, you lose form, focus, and flow. Many people pray for success, but resist the process. They want promotion without preparation, progress without patience. But discipline is what prepares you for the weight of your destiny. It strengthens you for what you've been called to carry. Without discipline, blessing becomes a burden. It's discipline that builds the character to handle success. It's discipline that teaches stewardship before overflow comes. If you can't be consistent in the small, you won't be ready for the big. Discipline also protects momentum from emotions. Feelings fluctuate, discipline stabilizes. Some days you'll feel like it, some days you won't, but discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what needs to be done. Your emotions will tell you to stop when you're tired, but discipline will remind you that you've come too far to turn back now. That's how breakthroughs happen. Not because you felt ready, but because you stayed steady. Momentum grows through habits. What you do daily determines what you become eventually. Discipline turns actions into habits and habits into lifestyle. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are built on discipline, momentum becomes your natural state. You stop starting over every few months because you've built a rhythm that carries you forward, even when willpower fades. But let's be real, discipline isn't easy. It's a battle between comfort and commitment. Every time you choose discipline, you're choosing destiny over distraction, growth over gratification. It hurts sometimes because it's stretching you. It's training your flesh to serve your future. Discipline is spiritual. It's an act of faith that says, I believe my future deserves my focus. It's trusting that the pain of consistency is smaller than the pain of regret. When you build discipline, you build credibility with yourself. You start believing your own words again. You stop saying, I'll start tomorrow, because you've learned to start now. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your confidence. Every act of discipline builds integrity. Momentum isn't just about movement, it's about trust. When you trust yourself to stay consistent, You stop needing motivation to keep going. There's a power that comes when discipline becomes natural. It doesn't mean life gets easy. It means you get stronger. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop drifting and start driving. You stop hoping for change and start creating it. Discipline keeps you in motion even when circumstances are still. It keeps your spirit active even when your surroundings are quiet. Sometimes momentum slows down because you lose sight of why you started. Discipline reconnects you to purpose. It reminds you that the process matters just as much as the promise. Every repetition, every sacrifice, every decision adds up. It's not wasted, it's working. Discipline turns your everyday actions into eternal impact. Even in Scripture, we see that consistency mattered more than intensity. The Israelites had to walk around Jericho for 7 days before the walls fell. The prophet Elijah prayed 7 times before the rain came. Jesus prayed regularly, withdrew regularly, taught regularly. There's a divine power in repetition. It creates rhythm, and rhythm creates results. Discipline keeps that rhythm alive. When you lose discipline, you lose traction. You start and stop. You move and pause. And every time you restart, you lose time and energy. But when you stay disciplined, momentum compounds. The work you did yesterday makes today easier. The strength you built last season helps you handle the next one. Discipline is the foundation that momentum stands on. So keep showing up. Keep building when it's boring. Keep practicing when no one's watching. Keep training when no one's clapping, because discipline is your investment in destiny. Every small step adds weight to your momentum. Every day of obedience builds strength for tomorrow. You might not see the reward immediately, but eventually the rhythm of your consistency will produce the results of your calling. Discipline keeps momentum. It keeps the vision alive. It keeps you aligned when distractions try to derail you and delays try to discourage you. Don't wait for motivation. Train yourself in movement, because once you build discipline, momentum becomes your inheritance. You'll move smoother, think clearer, and grow stronger. Stay consistent, stay faithful, and stay committed, because your discipline today is preparing you for the acceleration that's coming tomorrow. Faith fuels endurance. When everything else runs out, strength, willpower, motivation, faith is what keeps you standing. Faith is not a feeling, it's a fire. It burns beneath the surface when everything around you goes cold. Faith is what whispers, keep going. When your body says stop, when your heart says quit, when your mind says it's over. Faith is the inner fuel that turns exhaustion into expectation. It's what transforms pain into purpose and waiting into working. Without faith, endurance fades. But when faith is alive, even fatigue can't finish you. Endurance is not just surviving. It's pressing forward with purpose. Life will always test your endurance. Every calling comes with challenges. Every destiny demands durability. The journey will get heavy. There will be moments when you don't see progress, when prayers feel unanswered, and when hope feels dim. That's where faith comes in. Faith gives endurance direction. It tells you, don't give up here. There's something greater ahead. Faith doesn't remove the fight. It gives you reason to keep fighting. Faith is the difference between stopping and standing. When others give up because they can't see the way, faith keeps walking because it believes the way exists. Faith doesn't need proof to move. It moves, and then proof shows up. It's the evidence of things not seen. The conviction that what God promised is still on the way, even when circumstances say otherwise. Faith doesn't wait for the situation to change to believe. It believes so the situation can change. Endurance without faith becomes exhausting. You'll try to push through in your own strength, and eventually you'll burn out. But endurance rooted in faith draws from an endless source. Faith says, I'm not moving by sight. I'm moving by trust. You might be tired, but faith renews you. You might be unsure, but faith stabilizes you. Faith gives endurance a reason to keep breathing when logic says it's over. Look at every great story in Scripture. Each one is powered by faith, fueled endurance. Noah built for years before rain ever fell. Abraham waited decades for a promise. Joseph endured betrayal and prison before promotion. None of them had easy roads. What carried them wasn't comfort, it was conviction. They believed even when nothing looked like what God said. Faith gave them the endurance to outlast the waiting, the wounds, and the whispers. That's the power of faith. It doesn't remove the storm. It strengthens you through it. It doesn't stop the pain. It helps you stand in it. When you live by faith, you stop measuring God by what you see and start trusting Him for what you know. And what you know is that He's faithful, He's consistent, He's able. Faith anchors you when everything else shakes. It reminds you that delay is not denial and waiting is not wasting. Endurance isn't glamorous. It's not loud or shiny. It's quiet resilience, the kind that keeps showing up, keeps believing, keeps praying. Faith is the oil that keeps that engine running. Without it, you'll stop in the middle of the journey. With it, you'll keep pressing toward the finish line because faith doesn't let you settle. It refuses to let you quit halfway. Faith doesn't mean you won't get tired. It means you won't stay tired. It doesn't mean you won't fall. It means you'll rise again. Faith gives you the courage to rest without quitting, to pause without giving up, to recover without retreating. It's what helps you take one more step when you thought you had no steps left. Faith tells you, if you can just keep walking, you'll walk into your breakthrough. Sometimes endurance looks like persistence. Other times, it looks like patience. Faith fuels both. Faith keeps you persistent when doors close, and it keeps you patient when doors delay. You don't rush what God is still refining. Faith helps you trust His timing even when it's uncomfortable. It reminds you that slow progress is still progress and that waiting seasons are still working seasons. Endurance is not about speed, it's about staying power. And faith gives you that staying power. Faith gives endurance perspective. When your weary faith helps you remember why you started, it shifts your focus from pain to purpose, from pressure to promise. It reminds you that the fight is worth it because the finish is sure. Faith doesn't eliminate the difficulty, but it changes your view of it. It helps you see obstacles as opportunities and setbacks as setups. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, use me. That's the mindset of someone whose endurance is fueled by faith. The problem for many is they try to endure on empty. They push, but they've lost belief. They move, but they've lost meaning. Endurance without faith becomes mechanical. You're moving, but not motivated. You're active, but not alive. Faith fills the heart with hope again. It reminds you that your steps are not wasted, that every tear has purpose, that every hardship is shaping you for the promise. Faith turns pressure into preparation. Every test of endurance refines your faith. When you go through hard seasons, it's not to destroy you, it's to develop you. God doesn't allow pain without purpose. He's building spiritual stamina in you. The longer you trust Him through struggle, the stronger your endurance becomes. That's why faith and endurance always work together. Endurance tests faith, and faith strengthens endurance. When faith fuels endurance, quitting stops being an option. You realize that your journey is bigger than your feelings. You start seeing pain as a part of progress. Faith gives you the ability to endure, not because you're strong, but because you know where your strength comes from. You stop saying, I can't do this, and start declaring, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's not cliche, it's power. It's the kind of power that keeps you running when your legs are weak. The kind that helps you believe in the dark because you've seen the light before. Faith keeps you consistent through seasons of silence. When God seems quiet, faith says, He's still working. When doors seem closed, faith says, there's another way. When everything falls apart, faith says, this isn't the end. Endurance depends on that belief, because if you lose faith, you lose fire. And when the fire goes out, the fight goes with it. So if you feel like you're running out of strength, you don't need more speed, you need more faith. Faith will refuel your endurance. It will lift your head when you're bowed down, remind you that you're not alone, and empower you to keep pressing even when the path feels endless. Faith doesn't promise the road will be easy. It promises you'll never walk it alone. In the end, endurance proves faith, and faith produces endurance. They sustain each other. You endure because you believe, and you believe because you've endured. Every season of struggle becomes another testimony of God's faithfulness. So keep believing when it's hard. Keep trusting when it's quiet. Keep standing when it hurts. Because faith doesn't just get you started, it gets you through. Faith fuels endurance. It's the strength behind your steps and the fire behind your fight. It's what turns weary walkers into finishers. It's what turns waiting rooms into worship. When faith fuels you, you don't stop at obstacles. You outlast them. You don't break in the process. You build through it. So no matter how tired, tested, or tempted you feel, keep your faith burning, because faith will take you farther than fear ever could. Purpose anchors the journey. Without purpose, you drift. Without purpose, you wander through life, reacting instead of directing, existing instead of living. Purpose is what gives weight to your walk. It's what keeps you steady when storms come. What reminds you why you started when quitting feels easier. Purpose doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers in the middle of chaos, saying, there's more to this. It's the still guiding force that roots you in something greater than yourself. When you know your purpose, you stop chasing everything and start pursuing the right thing. Purpose is not just about what you do, it's about why you do it. You can have talent, skill, and success, but without purpose, it feels empty. Purpose gives meaning to motion. It's the difference between being busy and being effective. You can spend your life running from task to task and still end up nowhere, because purpose determines direction. Purpose turns work into worship, effort into impact, and pain into process. Without it, life feels random. With it, every step counts. The truth is, purpose is the anchor that holds you when everything else shakes. Life will not always go as planned. The road will twist, the path will narrow, and storms will rise. But when you're anchored in purpose, you don't get tossed around by every wave. You may bend, but you won't break. You may cry, but you won't collapse. Purpose keeps you grounded when feelings fluctuate and when circumstances shift. It reminds you that you're not here by accident, you're here by assignment. Purpose doesn't remove the storm, it steadies you in it. When you understand that your life carries meaning, you stop letting momentary pain define eternal plans. You realize that the struggle is part of the shaping, that hardship has purpose hidden within it. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour is molding you for what you were designed to do. Purpose helps you see that even pain can be productive when it's connected to destiny. Purpose gives perspective. It allows you to look at what others call failure and see formation. It teaches you that setbacks are setups That closed doors redirect you to better ones. When you live without purpose, every obstacle feels like opposition. But when you live with purpose, obstacles become opportunities to grow. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That's the power of an anchored life. You don't just go through storms, you grow through them. People without purpose live by pressure. They chase approval, money, status, or trends, hoping something will fill the emptiness. But purpose removes the pressure to perform. When you know who you are and why you're here, you stop competing with everyone else's calling. You stop comparing your chapter to someone else's highlight reel. Purpose frees you from pretending. You don't need validation when you're walking in vocation. Purpose also provides endurance. When you're tired, purpose pushes you. When you're weary, purpose wakes you up. It gives you a reason to rise, even when your body feels heavy and your spirit feels low. The moment you lose your why, you start losing your way. That's why it's crucial to stay connected to the reason you started. Purpose gives you something to fight for, something to build toward, something to believe in when hope seems faint. Purpose is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's in being faithful with what's in front of you. We often look for grand missions, but purpose is often found in small obedience. It's in loving well, serving others, growing daily, and becoming who you were meant to be. God rarely reveals the full picture. He gives you one step at a time. And if you stay faithful to each step, purpose unfolds in motion. Purpose doesn't promise comfort. It demands commitment. It will challenge your comfort zones, stretch your limits, and require your discipline. You'll have to make hard choices, let go of distractions, and say no to shortcuts, but that's how purpose refines you. It shapes your character before it showcases your calling. Purpose isn't about recognition, it's about responsibility. It's not about how high you climb, but how deeply you're rooted. Sometimes purpose feels hidden. There are seasons when you wonder, am I even making a difference? But purpose isn't always seen. It's often sound. Seeds of obedience grow in silence before they bloom in sight. The moments you think are mundane are often the ones that prepare you for miracles. Every act of faithfulness, every prayer, every act of service, every small decision to keep going is a thread in the fabric of your purpose. Purpose also requires alignment. You can't be anchored in purpose if you're tied to everything else pulling you away. That's why you must be intentional about what you attach yourself to. The wrong connections can distract you from your calling. You must discern who and what supports your purpose. Every relationship, every opportunity, every habit should either strengthen your purpose or it will sabotage it. If it's pulling you off course, it's not part of your assignment. When you're anchored in purpose, you don't need constant reassurance. You might not have all the answers, but you have direction. You might not see every step, but you know the source guiding them. Purpose produces peace because it removes confusion. It reminds you that even when the path feels uncertain, the destination is secure. You can rest in knowing that you're being led by something bigger than yourself. Purpose connects you to people too. No one fulfills purpose alone. The journey will bring others who share your vision, challenge your growth, and support your mission. Sometimes God sends people not to change your purpose, but to confirm it. Other times, He removes people to protect it. Both are part of the process. The key is not to cling to what was, but to stay anchored in what is still ahead. Purpose is the thread that weaves every season together. The highs, the lows, the victories, and the valleys All of it becomes part of a divine pattern. When you look back, you'll see that nothing was wasted. Every tear watered something. Every delay taught something. Every detour developed something. Purpose makes sense of pain and gives meaning to motion. Even when life feels uncertain, purpose remains steady. It doesn't shift with circumstances or fade with time. It's eternal. It's woven into your DNA. You were created for something specific, something sacred. And as long as you keep moving toward it, you'll find fulfillment that success alone can't provide. So when the road feels rough, when the wind feels strong, when you're tempted to give up, remember your purpose. Remember why you started. Remember who called you. That's your anchor. That's your stability. Purpose doesn't just hold you in the storm, it helps you steer through it. Purpose anchors the journey. It keeps your heart steady and your feet strong. It reminds you that every step matters, every season counts, and every struggle shapes you. You're not just wandering, you're walking with intention. You're not just surviving, you're becoming. When purpose anchors your life, nothing can pull you too far. Nothing can shake you too hard. And nothing can stop what's meant for you. You'll move with peace, grow with patience, and finish with power, because anchored souls don't drift, they endure. When I look back at everything we've talked about today, I see a pattern, a roadmap, a rhythm of resilience. Because life isn't just about starting the race, it's about staying on track. Anybody can start when it's easy, but staying on track means keeping your eyes fixed when distractions come, keeping your spirit strong when delays hit, keeping your faith burning when the fire gets low. You've got to understand, focus determines direction. Where your attention goes, your life flows. If your eyes are on the goal, your feet will follow the path. But if you let distraction creep in, if you start looking left and right, you'll lose sight of where you're meant to go. The enemy doesn't have to destroy your dream. He just has to distract your drive. Don't let him. Stay locked in. Stay clear. Stay focused, because when you lose focus, you lose momentum, and that's where discipline comes in. Discipline keeps the wheels turning when the thrill wears off. Discipline says, I'll show up even when it's not shining. I'll work when it's not exciting. I'll keep walking even when the road is rough. Discipline keeps you consistent until consistency becomes your character. And when you live disciplined, you don't just move, you build momentum. But even the strongest discipline will be tested. There will be moments where you're tired, where your strength fades, where your hands hang low. And that's when faith steps in. Faith says, I know it doesn't look good right now, but I still believe. Faith is the fuel that keeps you going when the tank runs empty. It's the fire that turns weariness into worship, confusion into courage. Faith tells you, don't stop now. Finish line is closer than it feels. And when you can't see your way, let purpose anchor your soul. Purpose is what reminds you that every step, every struggle, every setback has meaning. You're not here by chance. You're here on assignment. Purpose steadies your heart when everything else shakes. It says, you might be in the storm, but the storm is not in you. Purpose is your anchor in the chaos, your root in the wind, your direction in the dark. So stay on track. Don't drift because of distractions. Don't quit because of delay. Don't lose faith because of fear. The same God who started you is the God who will sustain you. You might bend, but you won't break. You might stumble, but you'll get back up. Because destiny doesn't belong to the fastest, it belongs to the faithful. If you keep your focus clear, your discipline steady, your faith alive, and your purpose anchored, nothing can stop you, not the storm, not the struggle, not the critics, not the clock. You'll keep pressing, you'll keep growing, you'll keep walking right into the promise that was waiting for you all along. So I came to tell somebody today, don't you dare give up. Don't you dare step off track. You've come too far. You've endured too much, and you've been prepared for this moment. Keep your eyes forward, your spirit grounded, and your heart full of faith, because the race isn't over. The best is still ahead of you. Stay on track, and you will see victory.